Hi guys, it's Sabrina here to answer the job search question of the week. And this week's question has to do with the interview process and that age-old question of what is your greatest weakness? I have a lot of clients who often ask me how to answer that question. It ends up as a frequent question on my blog or on the Facebook page. And I'm going to tell you something that maybe you don't hear. I think the standard answer is to tell your weakness but turn it into a strength. And I don't really buy into that. That means that you would say things like, my greatest weakness is that I take work home with me, or that I give too much to my employer, or that I work too hard. And so trying to spin a weakness into something that's really a positive. And so I do think that you should spin your weaknesses into a positive, but I don't think you should do it in that way. I think recruiters can see right through that. I think that they are expecting answers like that. I think they kind of cringe when they hear answers like that because it's not an honest answer. Everybody has weaknesses, right? There are things that we in our work do not do as well as other things. So those are weaknesses. We all have them. It's not surprising to anybody that there would be weaknesses. So what recruiters are looking for when they ask that question is that you know what your weakness is and that you know how to overcome it, and that you have an example of a time in your life when you did overcome it. And so when they first ask you, what is your greatest weakness? They're really wanting all of those things. And so before they even have the ability or the chance to probe into those other layers of that weakness, answer it all in one shot. So as soon as they say, what is your greatest weakness? Explain your weakness, explain how you overcome it, and give them an example of a time in your life when you've done that, a time in your career when you've done that. Doing that all at once doesn't even give them the chance to really think about that weakness because they're already on to listening how you've overcome it. So an example in my life, I know that in my career, one of my greatest weaknesses is I'm not a details person. I am very much a big picture person. I'm future thinking. Today is already happening for me. So I look at, tomorrow, next week, 3 months from now. I'm very much not a detail-oriented person, but in my career, it's important sometimes. It's very important. And so I have had to learn to first recognize that I'm not a details person, and then second, recognize when a project demands a details person and figure out how to overcome. So when I am asked by recruiters or now potential clients of mine about greatest weakness, because it happens in business too. It's not just in the job search, but certainly have clients who ask me about my weaknesses. And I explain to them that I'm not a details person, but I know that they probably want a details person. Here are the things that I do to overcome that. And here are some examples of times in my life, projects that I've worked on where I knew I needed to be detail oriented, and here's how I did it. So all together, have that answer laid out for them, rehearse it beforehand, know that that's probably a question you're going to get. Chances are good, 4 out of every 5 interviews ask that question. So know that it's a question you're going to get and have it all figured out. So don't ask them to wait, or don't wait for them, to ask that next part. If they say, what is your greatest weakness? Don't just answer that and then wait for them to say, and what do you do about that? Or give me an example of when you've had to overcome it. Just answer it all together. It's going to show them that you've thought about it, that you realize what that weakness is, that you think about it in terms of how to overcome it, and that not just thinking about it in terms of what it is. Hopefully that makes sense. So answering it all together kind of lets them know that you are very forward thinking, and that you've realized that you have a weakness, but you know exactly what to do to get past that. I hope that was helpful to you. I hope your job search is going well. I hope that you will check out my blog, hrchatterbox.com. There is a job seekers toolkit page that has a ton of other information for job seekers that I think will be helpful. Also, if you have a question, please check out the Facebook page and leave it there on the wall. It will either be answered directly there or in one of these video blogs. I hope that you are getting some wonderful weather like we are here in Chicago. It's like 73 out there right now, I think. So hopefully you're able to enjoy that before winter hits. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.